Hey everyone, welcome to the Happy Flosser podcast. And I'm so excited to tell you guys that it's just not me today. Today I have Joffrey from Hygiene Elevated. Hi, Joffrey.
Hey everyone.
I have Dana from Dental Hygiene Basics.
Hello, hello.
And I have Shelly Brown from Hygiene Edge.
Hi, it's good to be here.
Yeah, and we have all come together, motivated by the ADA House of Delegates resolutions that they put forward. If nothing else, great conversation has come out of those resolutions. And I thought it would be great to put all of our heads together and say, okay, what does this mean for our profession? What does this mean for our students? What does this mean for us? And what type of steps can we take moving forward, knowing that these resolutions have been put forward? Obviously, none of them are laws. They have to be heavily debated in each state, but it definitely makes you pause for a moment and ponder. So welcome, guys. I'm so excited to have conversation with each and every one of you. So I
We're
guess I'll,
excited to be here. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. So I think I'll start with Joffrey, because Joffrey, could you just share what your role is with the ADHA?
Yes. Okay. So, full disclosure, I want everyone listening to this podcast to know that Joffrey has not always been a member of the ADHA until this year. And so I just like went extreme. I guess that's maybe just who I am. I first I was a member for just a couple of months, and then before you know it, now I'm VP elect. So I just went from being a non-member to all over the place. And it's really because my priorities have shifted, and I really, really value our profession and supporting other providers. And so that's where I'm at now. But I want everyone to know, like, as they're graduating and moving forward in their career, if they're not sure about being a member, I want to say, be a member, do it. It's really important because I completely regret not being a member. And I truly feel that if I had been a member initially, that my career could have grown faster. I really slowed myself down not being a member. But anyways, that was a long answer, Billy. I am VP elect here in Utah.
And we are so happy to have you as part of the ADHA finally. Doesn't matter how long that took, Joffrey. But you raise a good point, and that is, I wasn't a member either. When I graduated, all I was thinking about was paying off my student loans. And I'm going to let Dana speak to that, because her and I have talked at length before about budgets and student loan debt and all that fun stuff. So Dana, I'll let you take that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's kind of funny. When I started dental hygiene school, our faculty were wonderful about getting us involved in SADA. I ended up running for president. So I was the SADA, the Student Association president, and I was very, very involved. Okay, so then fast forward, graduate, husband and I or boyfriend at the time, getting ready to get married. We see all this student loan debt, and suddenly I'm just like, we're on a budget. We can't spend any extra money like this. I'm sorry, association. You're going to have to wait, right? And so I also was not a member of the association for several years following graduation. And I actually did feel guilty. I was always like, oh, like I should be, I'm not doing the right thing. But I was like, I'm sorry, it's just what it is. I don't have the money right now. But looking back, where I'm at now in my life, I am so proud to be a hygienist. And I know how hard these people are working for us in the association to protect our profession, to, uplift our profession. And I just have to agree 100% with what Joffrey said, that if I had been more involved earlier, I can only imagine where my career would be now, right? Despite all the amazing things, that Joffrey's done, that I've done, that we've all done. We all had a gap, right? But I think we're all here to encourage to try and avoid the gap years, right? I think that's what I would recommend.
For sure. And Shelly, I'll give you the floor to share whatever
Yeah.
thoughts you have.
Well, since we're all admitting and confessing here, I'm in the same boat. I
I
think
love
when I
it.
was a student, I felt lower class. I felt like hygienists were like, ew, you're a new grad, like you don't belong, like you're just second class. I really felt that way. And so every time I talk to students, I tell them, listen, you are one of us right now. You might be in training, but you are a part of our association. I've heard sometimes maybe we have more students than actual like licensed hygienists in the ADHA. And I'm like, that is bad. That has got to change. I don't know the numbers today. I'm not on the boards or anything, but that is not great. So I always remind them how grateful I am that they are here and that they are learning. And I did not realize the importance of ADHA. I don't know why it didn't click in my mind. That's why I wasn't a member. It didn't click that I'm responsible for protecting my own profession. I just thought somebody else is going to do it, like patients do it. The patients care. I didn't realize it's us. Whoop. My phone fell, sorry. It's us actually who have to advocate for better patient care and for our own profession. And I think once that finally clicked, I was like, oh, I'm in charge of what I want my profession to look like. And I want XYZ. Maybe this is one tricky thing is sometimes we don't know what we want. We can't maybe see the future. So I think as an educator mindset, for those educators out there, get on your soapbox and preach to your students. I do all the time why we need change, what's on the forefront, what's happening, and like inspire them to be like, guess what? This is why you're members, because do you guys think this should change? And they're like, yeah, this should change. And I'm like, yeah, that's why you have to be members and we gotta lobby and we gotta do all these. I didn't know what like lobbying meant. I did not know the verbiage. So I love that we're having these conversations and then we have social media to like, educate in these
Yeah.
ways because we didn't before. And that's why I think we lack membership.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Shelley. And actually, Joffrey and I were talking about some of and of course, Joffrey's so good at coming up with like ideas of what needs to change and how do we need to do that. And just using social media is like a great start for really educating the next generation of dental hygienists. Like you guys have taken that oath, and now being a member of your ADHA is just one whole piece of taking that oath and moving to the next step. But then we also have to look at what is the framework of the ADHA and how does that meet the needs of today's hygienists? And Joffrey, you can speak to that a little bit about maybe some updates that we might need to make.
Well, thanks, Billy. So what Billy is referring to is I had made a comment that some of the practices of our association are a little outdated. And one of the examples I gave were component meetings. Like the idea of a component meeting reminds me a little bit of like a horse and buggy. Like, let me go jump in my wagon and go meet with my fellow hygienists. And so I just feel like things have moved so fast with technology and our association is moving just a little bit slower. So I feel like together we can drive the association in the correct direction that matches current times.
Yeah. And I really liked I don't remember who said subscriptions, having like monthly subscriptions. I thought that was that you, Joffrey, too?
Yeah, I think monthly subscriptions for the association are the future as well. I mean, it would take me like my hands and your hands to count how many monthly subscriptions I have, right? There's the podcast platforms, there's Canva, there's Netflix, there's like, it just goes on and on and on. Like I have so many, I would easily add an association one without even thinking twice about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they have like a payment plan, like you can do it every 4 months or you could buy it for the year. But is that what you mean, Joffrey? Like, or a separate subscription? Like, or remind me what your
Well,
solution
I'm
is there.
thinking like monthly, like on the 10th of the month, they took out X amount of dollars, like, and then it would be a really small amount that my bank account would barely miss.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that because and I mentioned this before we started recording, something that was a barrier to me was actually getting enrolled in the payment plan. One, the first time I thought when I first felt guilty, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get on this payment plan, right? But there was a fee. It was like a $4 fee or so three. I know that sounds crazy, but I did not want to pay it. So I was like, well, okay, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to wait until I can pay in full, right? Well, then today I actually got on and was going to update my membership, and I was having issues doing it on my cell phone, and it wouldn't let me it wasn't processing, and I've had this issue years and years in a row. And so you get frustrated, right? And you don't want any barrier to the payment process, right? It's like Amazon. They created the buy now button because they don't want you to think about it, right? They want you to click and it goes, and you don't even have to worry about it. And so I really think that improving some of those processes, like making it more digestible for a new graduate, just like Joffrey said, I think a subscription service with a lower cost each month. And, we've talked about maybe different ways to benefit the new graduates, keep those costs down for, the first couple of years. Like, I think y'all do that. Was that you, Joffrey, that was saying in Utah, y'all keep the cost down for the first year or two,
Yeah, it's
for the
brand
new
new.
grads?
It's a pretty cool idea. I see that gaining traction and being popular in other states too.
Yeah. So what are y'all offering exactly?
Oh gosh, Shelly, help me out.
Well, you said it was instead of the full $350 fee when you graduate, it's a reduced
It's
fee, right?
less.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the number.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's
I'm
right
sorry.
in between. It's like not a student, but not, it's like a newbie RDH deal. Like you get
Mhm.
a newbie price.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. And then Billy, you mentioned you were also kind of trying to find a way to make it easier on the new graduates to get enrolled as members as well, right?
Yeah, so our students, it's mandatory for them to become members, student of our student organization. But we were talking about how when they graduate, there's this little gap between when they graduate and then when the renewal membership is. And it just happens to be right at that worst opportune time when they are working on getting their licensure and they don't really have full-time paying jobs yet. So we were looking at coming up with a way, some kind of solution to close the gap there between when their student membership expires and then the annual membership kicks in so that they don't have a gap there and it's not a cost burden for them.
Such a good idea. I love it.
Shelley, do you run into that same issue?
Yeah, I feel like too, Utah one time we actually did like a mentorship program. So like if you wanted to be a mentor, you would put your name on the list and we would like give it to grads. But I was never contacted. And I'm like, how do we still, I just don't feel like they know how to network yet either with us. They're like, I don't know what networking really means, or like, I didn't really know why I needed it. I was like, I don't know, I'm just gonna go to my op and like do my job. Like, why do I need to talk to other people, right? I didn't understand that there's a lot of other cool things going on in dentistry, and because you just think, oh, everybody's doing this one same thing. And so I would love to see too. I know that we're like a group of volunteers, right? So it's so tricky, but maybe some more like schmoozing of the students, you know what I mean? More networking opportunities and possibilities. And I think too, when I was a grad, I felt like there was like rifts between different schools. Like we cannot talk to you because we went to a different school than you. And I feel like we got to change that culture as well in hygiene. Like we all pass the same board
Yeah.
and we all have the same license. We are now members of the same association. And so I want to know, they should know who else just graduated with them. What are you learning? What type of jobs are you getting? Like, let's collaborate a little more and help them network more. I think that that would be really awesome for associations to consider as a solution to keep these students on if they feel valued and invested in,
And
because we need
welcomed.
them. We need them.
Yeah. I think welcome too, right? Because
Mhm.
I know sometimes you might get a little shy going into a new social situation, right? And all these people know each other and you're like, I want to get involved, but I'm kind of nervous. And so having a welcoming crew or a mentoring crew or something like that, I think could be so, so good. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. All good things. And I really think that the focus should be on that new graduate because they bring so much energy and ideas and all to the table when they come. I do think you're both correct in that they need to be taught how to network, even though they've been networking their whole life. They were networking in hygiene school with their peers, with their faculty. They don't really recognize that as part of that networking process, you know?
Yeah.
And I do
I
think
think, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, from my experience working with the upcoming hygienists, I think the culture is changing, more supportive friendlier. They've got each other's backs. I think that they care about the profession. And I think that we could get them on board to make changes. You know, for me, what I've learned now after 10 years of being a hygienist and seeing this come out, the ADA resolutions that I know we're going to dive into a little bit more, for me, it really opened my eyes that we are not in control of our profession. Someone else is dictating what they want for us. That fires me up, right? Like that really like makes me not so happy. And I want any student listening to realize that this is our profession. You went to school for 2 years to get a career, to practice as a provider, right? To care for your patients. You're trusted to be in a room alone with your patients and provide exceptional care, but someone else is going to tell you how to do it, or that someone else can do this better, or, you know, whatever it may be. And that's why we need members, because I would love to see the day that we all have our own dental hygiene state boards. We are governing ourselves, and that we are making decisions within our profession, right? What's best for us. Not to say we're not going to work. We have to work with dentists, and we want to, right? We know that those are our peers, and those are our a vital component to the care that we provide, and we should do it as a team. But I think that if we want better access for our patients, if we want to go into nursing homes, if we want to go wherever, you know, if I want to do full local anesthesia blocks, like no one should stop me. Like I think Joffrey, the next shirt, maybe we could do a collab on this. It would be like, let hygienists do whatever they want. Instead of just let hygienists do Botox, I want it to
Let them
be,
block.
yeah, let hygienists do whatever they want. That's what I want.
I like that shirt. I'll buy one.
I know. I would wear it every day.
A little plug
Yeah.
that here in Utah, we're working on separating our practice act this year. If we don't get it this year, we're gonna do it next year, and the next year, and the next year till it just gets done. So every other state, whoever's hearing this, like that should be your goal as well. Like
Love it.
I didn't realize they were doing that, and then I was like, okay, I'm totally on board. How can I help? Like this sounds amazing. So I'm excited about that.
And Shelley, that's a good point. So that's another good reason is because when you're involved and you're networking, you find out about the things that are going on for our profession. And to Dana's point, really governing ourselves is a huge step. We want to collaborate with dentists, but we also want to be able to be in charge of our profession.
Yeah. Can you imagine for a second, like you're not a member, you're in your op, you've never networked. All of a sudden your dentist is like, hey, I'm gonna hire this assistant to scale because it just passed. And the hygienist is like, wait a second, what happened? Right? Like, think about that for a second. That could happen if you're not paying attention to what's going on in the world. So
It's
I think
true.
too, can I just mention that then it would be maybe a great idea as well to like have some type of mentorship program for people coming back into the profession. I feel like they're just like, oh, I don't belong. And that would be something cool, one idea. And then I think too, a lot of people don't come to the meetings because maybe they're not a member. We're always like trying to get them to be members, but I feel like when they do come, like they get a lot of guilt. They're like, we're like, are you a member? And they're like, no. And we're like, ew, you know? So I don't know how to bridge that gap.
It's
But I
like a
want
walk of
them to
shame.
all feel welcome. Like, you know, we have a license, we took the board, but yeah, not giving them too much shame, but also being like, hey, like, do you want to, or I don't know, how would we say that? How would you guys say that? How do you approach that? I think we should talk about that for a second, but maybe I would say something like, hey, like, what's your hiccup with like not being a member? Like, is it the cost, or like just like have an open conversation, like a motivational interviewing moment, like we do with patients, like ask an open-ended question and then be like, would you like me to give some recommendations, you know? And then they change their behavior.
Yeah.
You know, some psychology here. I don't know if you guys have any other recommendations on that.
I was curious, can you be just a member of your local component, like pay the fee for just your local component? Like, could that get somebody in the door? You're like, hey, it's $20 a year. You're part of the local component, you know, and then, okay, or maybe just the state, right? Like, at least you get involved at the state level. I know nationally we want the big numbers, but like, could that be a foot in the door? But I know it's easy when you log on to adha.org, you just do it all at once, right? And it kind of takes the guesswork out. But I wonder if that would potentially remove some barriers. If, again, I think a lot of it, I'm going to be honest, I speak from the cost perspective. I do think that coming out, it is difficult to pay that, but I know the value of it now. So I make it work, right? Joffrey, you were going to tell us how much is it per, wait, you came up with the percentages of how much of your pay it is per day or something like that if for students.
Yeah, so but before I share that, like full disclosure, I understand that things are very expensive in today's time. I'm not off my rocker. Like I have many, many bills of my own. But the question was, what percentage of our income is the actual membership? So if you just because to keep the numbers whole, right? $50 an hour at full time puts you at 104,000 for the year. 104,000, and let's say your fee is $350. That is 0.34% of your annual earned income. That's gross though. That's not what you took home. But still, it's less than 1%. So it's not a huge number when you look at how much you make a year as a hygienist. But as we're thinking of what ways to encourage non-members to be members, it would be really cool to see some sponsorships coming up from companies. Like the big top dog companies that have a lot of money. Like it would be really cool if they sponsored hygienists to be members who couldn't swallow that dollar amount. It's only 0.34%, but I turned that down for so many years, right? I did not have that perspective. I truly do think that sponsorship is going to be part of the wave of the future as well for some of our members. But while I have a minute to talk here, I want to backtrack on how much I value students really quick, because they are the future of this profession. They are so important. They are more important than they know. I try to tell the students all the time, like they are the smartest people in the room when they come out of school. They know way more than me. I have knowledge falling out of my brain every day. Like, do not ask me a pathology question, please. But I value the students so much that on the Hygiene Elevated podcast, we have a new co-host who is a recent graduate. She graduated just 4 months ago, and she brings incredible insight to the conversation on our podcast. I value her opinion on things very much so. And also, just this week, I had the opportunity to do some mentoring with one of the hygienists that I work with. And following this is a younger hygienist, I want to say. They're in their 20s for sure. And after our mentorship meeting, I got a text message that said, "Thank you for your time today." Like it was not a negative experience for either one of us. And honestly, I don't know if I would have taken mentorship as well when I was a new grad. So I think this new generation of hygienists are very cool. I think they're going to outshine all of us.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
That's what we hope for, a brighter future. And then you think of all the people that some people we don't even know. We know the big names, but think of the people who were blazing the trail before us. You have your mentors, the people that were there for you. And if you think back, you're like, they were probably involved or at least a member of ADHA, right? If they make these like big impacts on you. But we just have to keep passing that down. And I think the faith that we see in these, younger generations of hygienists, I hope they feel how much we care for them and how much we know that they're going to change our profession, and continue to change it for the better. But I don't want to discount what we're all doing, because I think we are uniquely all making the profession better too. So I'll give a thumbs up to all of y'all for everything you've been doing and working so hard for us, right? And it takes people to do that. And I don't know if you are listening to this and you're like, man, these people really care about the profession, right? And they're working hard. I mean, y'all are volunteering your time to these positions, right? And it's like, at the very least that I could do as a hygienist is support the people who are volunteering their time to make my profession better.
Yeah. Another point on that, I teach the practice management course where I work. And every time I teach it, I think to myself, what would I have wanted as a new grad? Like, I didn't have any too much coaching on how to negotiate in an interview and how to negotiate pay and things like that. And I tell them like, hey, listen, you're negotiating your wage, but you know how many other things you can negotiate? You can negotiate your ADHA dues.
Yes.
Your employer can pay for those. So you should ask, because it's a write-off for them. So yeah, you should ask for CEs, a CE credit, maybe a scrub credit, ADHA credit, PTO. Like there's a lot of these great things. And if there's a company out there listening who's maybe a DSO or of some sort, maybe you should put that in your offers.
Ooh,
Be
yeah,
like, hey,
I
we'll
like
also
that.
pay your ADHA dues, and that might get you like they're more invested too in their career. And when they're more invested, they're going to do better for the patients and for the practice. So
Yeah.
I'm just putting that plug in there.
I love
It's a
that,
really good
Shelley.
idea.
I love
I
Love
that.
know.
it.
I feel like Shelley, I'm now the director of Signature Dental Partners Hygiene Program, and we offer a scrub reimbursement, a CE reimbursement, and they could use that same allowance for a membership, and that would be approved for them.
Yes, so
So
That's
it's
awesome.
happening. It's happening.
yes.
I love it. So why don't we dive right into these resolutions? I'd really like each one of your opinions on them. I'd like to start with the faculty ratios. I'm just going to speak for myself first. We typically run a 1-to-4 ratio in our clinics because of today's students' needs. I feel like today's student really wants that one-on-one attention, more frequent interaction, feedback, that type of stuff. And to completely remove the faculty ratios, I think I started grinding my teeth over that one. That's a little bit how I felt. So
Yeah, I was feeling that same way, Billy. And I'm thinking, okay, the reason why they're doing that, right, is they want to keep more and more hygienists in the field and less leaving to be in education. That's the reason why they're doing it. They're just like, we need more people in the workforce, right? So I'm like, is that a good solution to lower our students' skills? That's what it feels like. I would like to more see, as I was brainstorming this, I think I asked ChatGPT this because I was like, what is education going to look like 100 years in the future? What does it need to do? How does it need to change? And I think we need to look towards some of these technology advances to help us out in education, to be honest. Like, it does actually seem very painful to me that we have an embryology teacher at every single dental hygiene school across the nation. Can we not focus in on one course, streamline it, customize it, automate it, and make all the students take like that one course, and then it's all catered towards boards, and it's like if you miss a question, it gives you more questions later, and it just really automates the whole education system. That might keep an educator in the clinical field, and it might be better for students, right?
yeah,
Also, there's technology now. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's called Pro. Oh my gosh, we might have to post the name Protractor. Anyway, you're on a computer, you look at a screen, you hold a device in your hand, and it will say scale this tooth. It feels just like you're removing calculus. It
yeah,
will show you a sickle. It will show you an explorer. Could we utilize more of the technology to not make students worse, but improve students, and then maybe, yes, keep some of the hygienists in the clinical setting because maybe we don't need them in education as much. Could we focus more on investing in education versus taking away, putting in versus taking away? Like, we can't just be like, we're cutting all the educators. So those are some of my thoughts, like education wise, that we have to implement, or
yeah.
we're just going to lower the standard of care. That sounds not very fun for anyone.
No, I love some of those points that you just made, and I definitely agree with you on some of those. There are definitely some things that we can do to be more efficient for sure. And at the same time, we might solve the networking problem by putting these students together on a national level where they're collaborating with one another in an embryology course, just as an example. And this kind of builds that community right from the beginning. And, this is a Bob Dylan quote, one of my favorites. People who suffer together have stronger connections than people who are most content. And hygiene school is just one of those real building blocks where you put yourself with others. And if we could build more of a broad group of students that network together while they're learning, going through the learning process, they learn how to lean on each other once they're in that clinical operatory. I just love that, Shelley. I think you're onto something there.
I like it too. You know, I would like to nominate myself to teach this overarching embryology course because I love histology and embryology. And I always think like, I'm like, ooh, I would do this, I would do this. I would like, change the flow, make it make sense. And I think you're right, you know, tailoring it to boards and making it very specific for the dental hygienist. I love that. Okay, so I digress. But you know, one thing with the faculty ratios, we also have to keep in mind that when there's a workforce shortage, it's not just affecting clinical. We are having a hard time finding dental hygiene faculty as well. And dental hygiene faculty are already stretched thin. I find I've worked in 3 different institutions and we were stretched pretty thin. We were having a hard time. Even if you're fully staffed, it's like, how long are you fully staffed? It was always the question of, someone's going to leave, and after a year, someone's like, this isn't for me. And they get a different job, whatever it is. The pay is typically lower, right? So there are barriers to transitioning from a clinician in dental hygiene into education as well. I kind of think some of the solution is also valuing our educators a little bit more. You know, when I was working in San Antonio as an educator, I was getting paid less at the university than if I would have taught at a high school in San Antonio. Now I had great benefits, but keep in mind, I mean, you're kind of look at the scale of that, and you're thinking, what was the point of going through all this if I could get the same pay as a high school educator, right? Like I didn't need to go back and get my master's. I didn't need the special dental hygiene degree. So I really think some value on education, but if we could implement some of these technologies, like you mentioned, to take the strain off. One unique problem that I've seen, which I think is really funny and will tie into where we're going to go with these resolutions, is, you know, when I was working at the university, we as the hygiene faculty were getting pulled to work with the dental students. So it was like, oh, you have this office hours, you have time. Well, you should be over here in the clinic with the dental students doing this. And we're like, no, we still need time to, you know, prepare our classes, grade, do all the things that educators have to do. So we were stretched thin because we were being pulled in different places. So it was kind of like, oh, something may be implemented to make your life easier and to give you more time. But now, oh, suddenly have more time. Why don't you come out and help the dental students? Which is not a bad thing, because I think dental students really benefit from working with hygienists. But at the same time, again, there's so many strains on hygiene in general, and I do think it comes to the faculty as well at the dental hygiene schools.
Yeah, I just had an adjunct today say to me, I thought this was going to be easier than private practice, and we're still running around like lunatics. I said, I'm really sorry. I hope all's going well.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it is. It's a lot, right? But if you love it, it doesn't matter. If it's your passion, you make it work. But
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, no bathroom breaks, all the same stuff that you deal with in private practice.
Yep.
Geoffrey, did you have anything to add before we moved on? I just want to make sure.
Well, just a very important side note. Shelley was my embryology teacher. She was an amazing teacher.
Dana, let's collaborate.
I love it.
Two minds are better than one, and we'll make the ultimate
I love it.
embryology course for the nation.
Can we write a textbook too? I think we should write a dental hygiene embryology textbook too.
You know, it will be the new Wilkins.
Yes.
I'll just make tutor style podcast episodes on it.
I love it. Do it. It's all needed. It's all needed.
Oh, I knew Geoffrey had something to add of value there. I just knew. I had this sense. That's awesome, Shelley, that you were her teacher. I love that. So I'd really like each of your opinions on the next resolution, which is to have foreign trained dentists come to our country, not be required to take a dental hygiene clinical board exam, but get a license to practice as a dental hygienist in the clinical setting.
I could kind of start the conversation if you want. You know, I think it comes down to the no exam, right? That's really what kind of rubs everyone raw. They're like, what? Like I went to school for 2 years and you're requiring me to take an exam, but suddenly someone else doesn't need one, right? And yes, of course, they've probably taken exams in their own country and they've been educated, right? we don't know the standards. We know that things are different, right? Based on country. So what are they being taught versus what is being taught here? All those questions are in place. So I do think the exam is needed. Right now, even students who are graduating from dental school, when they take the 8X exam, they have to take a portion of it that is on periodontal scaling. So it's like, okay, you still need that exam. I think is, again, it's to be a gatekeeper for our profession. It's to protect our profession, to protect the public. And I mean, I think if you can pass the exam, then yeah, sure, why not? There may be other things, that we might touch on later on, some pros and cons of this, but I really think that, there's no harm in uplifting, helping people who have skills and using them to serve the population, right? Like if you can pass the test, I think that that's okay.
I'm going to second that. I think that if you can pass the same test, then come be on my team. But I have a hard time with the idea of the dentist saying, well, your dental degree came from another country, so you can't practice dentistry here, but here are some scalars. Go ahead, go do that instead. And I that part is very aggravating.
Yes, I agree.
I think too. I mean, I've just heard we've had a lot of foreign trained dentists come through like hygiene school, and they're like, I did not learn this. I just hear that over and over, and so I don't think that those maybe equate. Yeah, and I'm like, why are you making me then have to take a board? Like, I don't understand that. Also, we just don't know their dental school. Is it a 1-year dental school? Like maybe it's cheaper. Maybe I go to another country, go to dental school there for 1 year, pay a lot less, and then I can come back here and just work freely without a board. I mean, we might like lose a lot of education to that too. I don't know, like students might choose to do something like that. That might open up some other floodgates or consequences that maybe we didn't think about before.
Oh my gosh,
and
that
why
sounds
leave
like a
the
great
foreign trained
plan.
hygienists? Oh, go ahead, Joffrey. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good plan. I
I'm
know,
just
I'm like,
saying, I want, if I could have a redo, I would love to go study abroad for a year and come
yeah,
back with less student loan debt. Like, wow, why didn't we do this a long time
I
ago?
know.
Like,
I
I
mean,
sign me up for that.
I know, like, wait, what did I just say? Uh, nobody tried to do that, okay? I think that the states will realize this is why we're members of the ADHA, right? When it comes up, because it's going to come up, it came up in Utah last year. We had a lobbyist that we paid because we had money from members, and we talked to the lobbyist and we said, this is our concern. They're trying to pass foreign trained dentists to become hygienists. And it ended up that we had a conversation with UDA, and now they actually have a pathway for a foreign trained dentist to become a dentist. But there's no talks of hygiene, which I think is interesting. I'm like, there's got to be foreign trained hygienists. Like, why was that? Like, why are we always left out, even globally, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you like, let's just try to like go around the hygienists as much as possible. And I just would really like to be remembered.
Yeah,
Oh.
like we're
Like
still here.
utilized. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're still here. Like we want to be team players, but like why always like circumventing us? Like we're trained, we're here, we're ready. Here we are. Like set us free.
And we're
So
so
that's exciting.
passionate about it. Like you see us all come together, right? I mean, just think about all of us. Like, I mean, Joffrey and Shelly, y'all are both in Utah, but like, Billy's in New Hampshire, I'm in Texas. Like, I mean, I only met Joffrey and Shelly recently just because I happened to go to Utah. But otherwise, like, there would have been a time where we maybe wouldn't have even met each other, right? And the camaraderie, because of our passion for this profession, it's like we should be remembered. We should be included in these conversations. And, you mentioned some really awesome points about what are the repercussions? Right. It sounds good in theory, but we always know anytime you implement something new, something else happens that maybe we didn't anticipate. I know that we talked a little bit before we started recording that there are some states that do allow foreign trained dentists to take the licensure exam. And one of the concerns is that they become a hygienist and then they practice dentistry illegally, right? Because all they needed was the pathway to get in. And it's a concern. So what bigger issues are we going to see from this? Now, at least they're practicing dentistry, which is what they were trained to do, right? But, if you're not getting a really well-rounded dental hygiene education, And again, it's like the test is number one for me. Like you have to pass the test. And I don't think that we should take away the test for anyone. Because, Joffrey made a good point. She's like, I could go to another country in this case, get the degree, come back, not even have to take the test. Meanwhile, here in the States, we're going through school for 2 years. We're required to take the test. And how is that fair for anyone, right? For the people who have been studying and who have to take and pay for this exam, right? So I really just think it should be across the board a standard. If you want to practice as a hygienist, you have to pass, and that's what it is now. So I don't think that there's any value in changing it.
Yeah. Well said, Dana. And here's the other piece. The patients don't know the difference from one provider to another. We're all just in scrubs. We're wearing all this PPE. They don't know who's who's got what license, who's what the credentials are. They're just trusting the system. They're trusting the process.
And that's scary for them. I think about my family who doesn't know, or my friends who don't know, and you go in and suddenly maybe you're being, taken care of by someone who isn't credentialed, like in the way that, I don't know. Yeah, I think that's scary.
Yeah.
Well, also, I want to just add in here, if the true problem is access to care, if that is the true problem, let's just take the training wheels off of our hygienists and let them go out and serve the population. Like, why are we we're ready to go. We free us at any time and we are ready to go take care of the people. So I'm not sure why that hasn't really been brought up to the table yet.
Well, that's such a good point.
Yeah, I don't think I really knew too much as a hygienist for the last 15 years that was a possibility. I'm like in my op, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I didn't realize I could advocate for something different. I didn't know what that looked like. I mean, I always heard Colorado did it, but I just didn't know what it looked like. So I think as hygienists, like our message has to be like, we want autonomy. We want autonomy. We have to like plant this seed in all of us individually, and have these conversations as hygienists and just really push autonomy so that we all have to be thinking, oh yeah, like actually that's a great idea. Like let's advocate for it. And that is what I want. I'm going to talk to my employer about it, see what they think, get them on board. And then it becomes like a movement and it will happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got to like spread the word to like start it.
Well, yeah, it starts, oh, sorry, Dana. It starts with students with like we have a certified public health hygienist, right? So students can become a certified public health hygienist and go out into the schools and the nursing homes and here, there, and everywhere. But we don't have a clear pathway for them. It's not a real clear pathway. A student needs a clear pathway. Okay, first you do this, then you do this, then you do this, and then this is what's available to you. And I think that's where our focus needs to go. If the real root of the problem, like Joffrey's saying, if what our solution is we're trying to increase access to care because we have a perceived shortage, then we need to actually have who we currently have as licensed individuals work at the full scope of their knowledge and really expand their abilities, take the handcuffs off.
Yes, allow us to diagnose, own our own businesses, run our own practices, right? I think, we should be able to do all of the things. And one thing that we talked about, you mentioned that the goal, they're saying we need to increase access to care because we have shortages. Well, for years, we've known that there's, struggling people in areas, rural areas, homebound patients, whatever, that need care. So could this resolution be reworded, meaning that, yes, you could be a foreign trained dentist that comes in, passes a licensure exam, and maybe you serve an underserved population, right? Like maybe we need to think big picture of how do we really actually access these people who do need it the most, right? Not just oversaturating another market in a big city, right? Opening more DSOs. I'm not against DSOs, but it's like, where do we need these people, right? We need them out with the public who aren't getting the care. I don't know. Maybe that's a little off topic, but just a thought I had.
It's good to share every idea that comes into your head because that's how they turn into thought trains and then they turn into actions. So thank you, Dana, for that. All all good points. And maybe something that we're all saying might just spark an interest in somebody listening. So I want to get to the third resolution, which is very interesting to me. And it's to allow dental students who are through the prevention piece of their learning in school to practice as a dental hygienist while they're still in school. So I'd really love to hear each of your take on that. Shelley, I can start with you because I can see you're just dying to talk.
Listen, this is hilarious to me. Why don't they circumvented us again? Why don't let hygienists do it their last year? Oh, wow. Like we'd get experience. We could be out there working. We could do like a little bit of here, a little bit of there. We'd come towards clinic. Like, whoa, let's just take the hygienist out again. Dang it. Like maybe, so maybe think about us too. So that was my issue. But also it's a board thing. Like if they can pass the board, sure. But that's my thought.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, is dental school like super easy that they can all go pick up a hygiene job? Like, as don't think I could have handled the job while I was in the hygiene program. So, I'm just not sure. Like, how difficult are those dental programs? Like, they're all ready to go scoop up a hygiene job, and then I say that jokingly because I'm very sarcastic. But what really is though, aren't they in school during office hours? Like, is this really practical?
Right, but it could be something great. Honestly, like think of nurses, student nurses, right? They can't like practice on patients in a like a school setting, right? So they go out into the real world and they're utilized and they're mentored at the same time, So I'm like maybe we could include it with schooling. I don't know, as per hours, maybe would help decrease some of the educator ratios. I don't know. So it might be a good program, but there's a lot of kinks to work out in that, I would say. But I don't think there is a lot of time to have a separate requirement like, oh, now you can go work on top of all your school requirements at the same time. That would be really hard.
Yeah, because I'm thinking they're swamped. Like, that's not a solution. They are busy, is what I'm trying to get at. Like, I just don't think they can go see 8 patients in the day. Like, if it's access to care, what are they going to go like do just maybe a few hours here and there? Like, that's really not serving the population to the demand that we say we need to serve.
Yeah. I actually thought it was
studying, right? Oh, no, sorry. I think my only point is you should be studying, right? Like you're in school to study, not to say that you can't work and make income, but I feel like their primary like point of focus should be on the education, and suddenly it's like, oh, you can go get a job. Some dental schools actually allow them to make a percentage of the production so whenever they're treating patients, they get a percentage of the production. But some of them say it's so complicated that they don't even want to fuss with it. So
I actually thought it was a good idea.
I actually see where Shelley is coming from. I think it would be beautiful to have had some real life experience before graduation, out in the community, out, in like here in Utah, we have donated dental. Like we have like the 4th Street Clinic. Like I think it would have been a great experience if that had been like even just part of the curriculum to go out and see more stuff like outside of the school walls and meet other providers and I mean building that network practice right from the beginning.
I would have stayed in school 6 more months if I could get paid and have my faculty helping me. That would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
I have heard students say something like it would be really nice to have almost like a 6-month or 6-week or something type of internship at the end of graduation. Like, can you imagine, okay, let's say you graduate, you're waiting to get your license and you have 1 month where you're treating the public like boom, 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 like in real life practice. I mean, that could work too, but then you have to get faculty involved. You have to get more people, so, but these are all potential solutions.
Yeah. I did think that so the positive side of me, I thought if a dental student had some time to really work as a dental hygienist, it might help them really see the value and see it a little differently because really nobody knows what it's like to have your own schedule as a clinician until you're in it. And I thought it would bridge the gap between dental and dental hygiene a little better if that opportunity came about. That was the one positive thing I thought was a great idea.
Yeah. I mean, if they can take a board and they want to do that,
Yeah,
like that would probably, maybe be okay. We'd have to chat about what their education like feel like if they're done with all of their hygiene requirements, if it's like in their second year, their third and fourth year, they're out. But I still think that they still have to pass a competency,
yeah,
they still have to be like, I think that would be really good for them, as you said. It would be a great way to be like, oh, I know what the hygienist had to go through. I'm valuing them a lot more.
yeah.
Well, one of my concerns was, okay, let's say that they get through years 1 and 2 as the dentist, right? And then they are in dental school, they get to years 3 and 4. Well, what if you don't succeed moving beyond that point in dental school? It's like, what happens to you then? Are you allowed to just keep practicing as a hygienist, or are and then you think, well, how well does this really serve the workforce? Because if they do graduate, right, they're leaving dental hygiene. So you're going to have this turnover. But again, you will have other people maybe stepping in to fill in those roles if they're interested. But at the same time, I just wonder, again, what could the backlash be? Are you going to have students who potentially are maybe struggling through the dental program and then they just kind of give up on it and they're like, well, I don't need to take an exam because the ADA resolution said I can practice as a hygienist as long as I, got to this point. So I agree, Shelly. I think that's what we've all come back down to, right? Is just keep the exam. Please keep the exam.
For sure. For sure. Wow, ladies.
We
Well,
solved all the world's problems. Give us another. Give us another. We'll figure it out.
What's next?
I know. Well, all I have to say, as I bring this podcast to a close is that you guys are a perfect example of the benefit of networking, because when I heard these resolutions, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't be the only one feeling this way. And you guys have helped me think of things that I didn't think about, right? I was thinking a certain way, and just having each one of your perspectives and thinking about it and really talking through, it helps me really like open my mind a little bit to, okay, well, these are the conversations we'll be having on our state level. These are the conversations that we'll be having with our students. And I really just love and respect each one of you and what you each bring to the profession and to the conversation. You guys are fantastic.
Thank you, Billy. This has been so much fun. I appreciate it.
Agreed. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to stop recording and we'll say goodbye to all of our fabulous fans.
All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.